Welcome to this special TransMissions movie review video. We are reviewing Transformers: The Last Knight, the fifth installment in the Michael Bay live-action movie franchise. It was out last week. We're a Transformers podcast. We got to review it. It's it's part of the bylaws.
Pretty sure we don't.
I'm your host, Charles, a.k.a. Big C. I'm joined by our regular crew, Yusuf, better known as Yoshi.
Yo!
Jeremy, a.k.a. Yakko.
Hey.
And Darryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Hey, let's talk Transformers.
And since this is a really special event, we are joined by Aimee, a.k.a. Lady Wreck.
Hello, it's good to be here.
She is Yoshi waved.
Yeah. Probably do it the wrong direction.
I rarely get to work so close to you other podcasters.
Yeah, so Amy's a veteran to the Transformers podcasting world, so we thought her...
Great. Just talk me up. Talk me up now so I can fall flat on my face, right?
All right, well, so... If you're not familiar with the TransMissions podcast and who we are, you should know that we are not fans of the Transformers live action movie franchise. We have some issues with it, so just want to say that right off the bat.
I would like to remind everyone we have a PlayStation 4 community, and you should all join.
And yeah. If you don't like to hear negative opinions, you probably should just stop watching.
This needs to be emphasized because as a fan of crappy movies, that's pretty much how we feel about these. So if you like these movies, don't listen to this. Seriously, don't. Because I know how to like a movie and then somebody can destroy it for you, and that's what we're about to do. So if you do like these, come back after this segment.
Yeah. And we are getting into heavy spoilers, so this is going to completely spoil the movie. If you haven't seen it yet, you shouldn't watch this either, so go see the movie first before you watch this video. So I think that's all the disclaimers we can get out of the way here, and let's get into...
Well, if you do like it, we do have a Patreon.
All right. Well, Aimee, you're our guest, so I thought maybe we should start with you.
So mean.
What?
Because she's going to have a tone set, and the rest of us are going to have another tone set, and she doesn't know exactly how harsh she can be.
Yeah.
Okay, so should I start with you, Yoshi, then?
That's a dick move, too, but I accept.
Okay, Yoshi, let her rip. What
do you want me to do an overview and then just nitpick?
No. So we're not gonna summarize the movie. I mean, I think if you've watched the movie, you know what happened. So Yoshi, I'm gonna say start with good points and bad points and your overall thoughts.
First off, how about tell us like how many times you saw it and what showing you saw. So was it like the advance tickets, or was it like no, I waited until it was out and I did the matinee. I spent like only $5 on this. I need to know your level of how much money you put down to see the movie, so you know how much you wasted.
All right. Sorry. I saw the Tuesday release at 8 p.m. standard showing. I spent $4 on my ticket because I had a coupon. So I'm not going to waste $14 on this. And I set the expectation of the sucking on this to be about here, and it was about here.
So it was better than your expectation.
It was far, when you put a bunch of writers into a room who are supposed to save the franchise, I have learned that you can't dig out Michael Bay from the shitstorm he's created. It was not good. But I was left, a few minutes there at the beginning. I was like, how am I going to explain that I like this to everybody? Oh, thank God Marky Mark tried to stop a Transformer with a sword and I can now trash this fucking film. That's about the point I checked out, everybody.
That was pretty far into the movie, though.
It was, and that's what's scaring me about it. Like, it took that long until Michael Bay's like, screw these writers, I'm going in my own direction.
That was like 2 hours and maybe 15 minutes in.
I would say it was halfway through the second act, probably. Squeaks was a throwaway character, didn't need to be there, piece of shit.
Most of them were, actually.
Yeah. I definitely felt like this was way more human-focused than the other human-focused Transformers films that have been coming out. John Goodman couldn't get enough of that. If they had just stretched him out through all the acts instead of just the first act. I love that guy so much, and that voice he does, and the shit he was saying was so funny, but
yeah,
they crapped all over that. At least they didn't kill him. A lot of the time I felt like this was the 86 movie, just twisted. What else? Cogman was a piece of shit. I didn't need that. Hot Rod, I hated him in 86. I continue to hate him now. They preserved the hatred.
Added a new twist by giving him a French accent.
Yeah. It's like, we're not sure if everybody's going to hate him, so let's add this aspect to it, and we will hate him. Steve Buscemi sounded like a man. They needed to apply something to his voice, because he was just too human sounding. Truncated silence here. The conflicts, literally every conflict was resolved wicked fast. Like, you know, all of them, but Optimus Prime versus Bumblebee, that was just super fast. I felt like just when the fights were kind of being visually entertaining, boom, it was over. And in that in particular, like, Bumblebee has to say one thing and that snaps Optimus Prime out of his hatred. I get angry. It takes more than somebody saying, calm the fuck down, dude, for me to get snapped out of it. It's not going to happen. I didn't see very much product placement, Darryl.
Why is that directed at Darryl?
Well, because Darryl's like, this is going to be a thing. I'm going to be looking for all the ads in the movie. And I was subconsciously doing that. But aside from Bud Miller Light and whatever, there was nothing in it.
Listen to the last show.
True. But that was the same thing that they had in the last one, too. The Age of Extinction.
They had a lot of ads in the last one.
Yeah.
They did the same beer thing. It was the same beer, you know, and everything. So I was like, oh,
the mini Dinobots were fucking worthless. The girl, who's the girl?
Isabella.
Yeah, that was
Isabella the girl.
That
Vivian,
didn't need to be there.
It's to appeal.
Canopy, that was depressing.
5 minutes in, bye bye.
5 minutes in.
He was the only one only Autobot that really bought it, to be honest.
You know, and to whoever in the writer's room put that scene together to actually make me give a shit, awesome, thumbs up to you. There was a lot of, it felt like Bay was trying to reference the best parts of Armageddon too, in all the sciencey NASA shit. That felt short.
Yeah,
that felt short.
I agree with that.
Yeah, sting like a bee. So when Bumblebee says sting like a bee, there was a small group of women older than me that stood up and applauded that. And I probably missed the next 5 minutes of the movie trying to question who these people were as people. Big fail for not having Gil Vazan voice Bumblebee. Big fail on that. You can make a Volkswagen reference, but you can't get the voice actor to come back. That's just idiotic.
They could get him to come back. I'm sure he'd be willing to do it.
Oh, absolutely. This was a thing of just not asking. This is producers thinking they know better than me.
You'd think they could get Rod Paulson. They can't get Dan Gibson.
Anthony Hopkins is a phenomenal actor. And no matter how much he acted the shit out of any scene, all I kept thinking was, where's John Goodman? I want John Goodman back.
They should have made Anthony Hopkins a Transformer instead of a human.
I might have liked it. But, in the last film, I really dug Kelsey Grammer. I dug John Goodman too, but Kelsey Grammer was on par for me. In this one, it was John Goodman the whole way. That guy brought his A.
Think about, how cool would it have been to have Anthony Hopkins as Alpha Trion delivering all that exposition rather than some random English lord?
They did everything wrong, Charles. They started production. Step one was that mistake right there. That was mistake step one. But
all right, we've got more bitching from everyone else. So final thoughts, Yoshi.
Don't go see this.
All right. Is that it?
That's it. Don't go see it, man.
All right.
I feel like my $4 were wasted.
All right. Now, can I go to Aimee now? Have we set the expectations now so that Aimee can feel comfortable?
How somebody with a double doctorate screwed that up. Yes, you can go to Aimee now.
All right, Aimee, you can start off. You can tell us when you got to see it, how many times you saw it, and your thoughts.
Okay, so I also saw it on the Tuesday before it opened. Was the 20th or something like that. It was a 7:00 show. I went to the IMAX 3D because I figured, hey, this is the way that Michael Bay has recorded and shot everything, and so I want to see it the way that he intended. I wasn't, okay. I paid $15 for it, and then I went again today and took my 14-year-old son, and we went and watched it again. And I sat down and filled a little notebook full of stuff, preparing for this podcast. Not that I couldn't have done that when I just, I went and saw it again. So comparing it between the 3D and the non-3D, I didn't get to see just a regular 3D without IMAX, but I kind of feel like, if you like 3D gimmicks, it works. It was fun. But I really didn't notice a huge difference between, 3D was just so amazing, and then the one I saw in non-3D was like, there was something missing. It's like, it looked good both ways. So
I think I saw only a couple scenes that were really kind of the 3D gimmick where, like, the sword is, like, coming right at you or something.
Yeah.
They really toned that down.
It didn't. I wouldn't just say it so wowed me. Like, the first time I saw Avatar, that 3D was, like, really popped out at me. Like, it was just had an extra thing to it. So when I saw it without that, I was like, wow, this looks so much different. That I didn't have that effect at all. So the first one, I paid $15. I got a free T-shirt. Woohoo! So I liked that. My son wore it today, or else I'd have it on. But but the one that I went to this afternoon was it was a matinee, so we paid $5. So total of $10 between me and my husband to go, or me and my son to go see it. So that was the level of money that I put into it. Interesting thing. I went to the first one. I laughed a whole lot because it was hilarious in at least more than half the movie. And then at the very last hour, I'd say, or even the last 30 minutes, I didn't laugh at all because there was just so much going on and they're just, like, really intense. I didn't have the same effect the second viewing. I went, whoa, I can see so much of the cracks, and, so much of it, you could start picking it apart. And so my opinion of it has kind of gone down a little bit after seeing it a second time. Let's see. Oh, I'm trying to think what else to. My overall feeling on the movie is that if you go in there, you turn your brain off, great. The first viewing, you might have some fun. But the more you kind of look at it, the more you think about it, the more you're like, wait, could he really do that? Like, human being really stop a Transformer sword? I don't think so. Or, can Bumblebee really fall to pieces and come back together? It's like, this is a gimmick he hasn't had in all of the movies, and then suddenly he's got this ability that no one has seen until movie number 5.
Transformium.
Yes, but he wasn't affected by that. I went back and watched the last movie. He didn't. So it was kind of like, okay, but he didn't have that ability. I mean, I could understand if Megatron had that ability, but... And yes, there were Decepticons in this movie.
Surprising.
Surprising, I know. So we had Megatron, but then we had a whole lot of mini-cons that just kind of showed up that we didn't know anything about. I don't know who Mohawk is. I don't know who Nitro Zeus is. I don't know who Onslaught is, or Dreadbot, or anybody else that they named. I wrote them down. That's the only reason why I can remember them. They just kind of turned into we're going to make a deal with these guys to go find Cade and all of the Autobots so that we can get this magic thing that we're looking for. And the more I look at this movie and the more I kind of analyze it, and the more I go, hey, let's see, when did this happen to this? It's actually a better version of Revenge of the Fallen. Because you go on a quest to find an item. That's what the Revenge of the Fallen did. You see Optimus Prime for maybe about 30 minutes out of the whole movie. He died in the beginning of Revenge of the Fallen. You got him in the last 15 minutes of that. So it's like, okay, yeah. There's hardly any Optimus Prime in it. Let's see, what else is there that...
you have an evil behind the evil. Who's
Yes, exactly. There's that. Let's see. It's just, they go on this trek to find items, and then at the very end, the big bad gets killed. And that's exactly what this is. I mean, if you look at... I think it's pretty much the same kind of movie, except it's just told differently. I think the biggest disappointment for me is that a lot of the stuff that they had in there, even the Unicron is the middle of Earth, was not that big of a surprise because Transformers Prime did that. Yeah. Transformers Prime, and so I was a little disappointed about seeing that because I thought, well, when Transformers Prime did that, I was like, oh, wow. Because it was something new that had never been done. And now the Movieverse doing that as well kind of made me go, wait a second. That should be a thrilling thing. But and maybe for somebody that's never seen Transformers Prime, maybe they'd be like, oh, that blew my mind. But it really kind of doesn't because, again, it comes down to the same problem that I kind of had with Transformers Prime. Is like, does that not mean that human beings and Transformers are mortal enemies? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I really wasn't a fan of that. There's a lot of setup. I have to say, I'm willing to put a little bit more, okay, let's go with this writing group. At least it's not Aaron Krieger. There's a group of people that are doing this and not just one person. I'm willing to give them another movie. I kind of look at this movie as like, let's put all of our ducks in a row and fix things in the right direction that we want them, and then the next movie might be better. I'm kind of hoping, just because it's a new writers group, but I mean, you never know, because you never know.
I mean, I would agree with you as long as they change the director. I think the director is the main issue here. I mean, you could have the most perfect script in the world, but if whoever's in charge of the filming and the composition and editing could chop that all to pieces. I feel like there was maybe a lot of exposition in the script that never made it into the film because there are a lot of things that just are not explained at all, that just show up with no explanation. You're just expected to accept them. It felt to me like watching the movie. Very true. Yeah, it's like, just watch the movie. You don't need an explanation. You want an explanation? Fuck you. You don't get an explanation for any of these things in the movie. Yeah,
because in the last one, Megatron was in a completely different place. He was little pieces made by a human being, and he wasn't Megatron. He was Galvatron. And so you didn't know that, and then they're just. You're right. There are pieces that I kind of felt like there was an episode between the last movie and this movie that was supposed to explain those pieces, and it just got lost in translation, or they just lost the footage and didn't put it in there. It just felt like there's something should have been there to kind of like, oh, let's get everybody. There's some good and bad to that. Good that they good that they don't have to go back and fix everything, but bad in the fact that the continuity just feels kind of forced, and that did not help me when I was watching the movie. That actually was more of a negative than anything. Going, wait, I feel like I missed something here that should have been there.
I do think I know one of the reasons for that, and I saw this on another review I watched and just checked with IMDb and confirmed it. There were 6 editors on this movie.
Oh, jeez.
So, you could have a coherent story, but you have 6 people working on it, trying to put it together. It's going to be a jumbled mess.
Yeah. Well, now I'm like, okay, I guess it could have been a whole lot worse. The good thing is, that all of the smutty humor and the stuff that you're like, why did Michael Bay put that in there? The lewd humor that has been in stuff before wasn't there, and I saw that as a really big positive. Because now I don't have to go talk to my kids afterwards. What's this, Mommy? Like, yeah. I mean, I've got a 14-year-old, and when I don't take him to see a movie, he's like, why? What was wrong with it? I'm like, well, you just don't need to see that. And so it's like, hey, they ask me questions because they're kids, and, I would like to take them to a movie and not go, yeah, that was kind of a rude thing for him to say. Don't repeat it.
Well, there was one scene, but it was made in a way that it was over kids. I think it successfully gets over kids' heads. But the scene where
they're upstairs.
They go into the study.
On the floor?
Yeah, and the.
Oh no, my 14-year-old knew.
Okay,
they're talking about. Knew exactly. It was tasteful. That was tasteful. Because the ladies they would art, and then there was good setup to that too, because the family members were wanting to see her date and find somebody, and so to bring the guy home, and then oh my gosh, they go upstairs, and it was funny.
The one thing that I thought crossed the line was when the one I hope it was like her aunt and not her mom. That was like, I'm gonna peep in on them and see what they're doing. Like, okay, that's a little far.
I'm gonna go up there and check. Yeah, right. It's like, you dirty old women. Yeah. And then some of the things that they said about him was just like, oh gosh, please stop.
All right. Final thoughts, Aimee?
I can't say enough, to be honest. It's got its problems, but I do say I did find it first time really entertaining. The guys that were sitting next to me, I mean, like the first time we went to go see it in the theater, it was sold out. Everybody, all the seats were filled. People were waiting in line. In fact, because they were giving out shirts, they should have started sooner, but they didn't, and so we were waiting for a while. The guys next to me laughed like profusely at every funny little anything, so it was kind of contagious in that the temperature of the theater was much higher than I expected it to be. And then the second time I saw it, it was like dead silence, a few laughs every once in a while, and I was kind of like, yeah, because I already had seen all these. So I think the shelf life of this movie, great the first time. You might actually think of a few things and go, but that didn't make sense. Second time you see it, you're like, oh gosh, there's a lot of cracks here. I don't think the shelf life for the movie is actually good for the movie. First time, great. And you might find a few things that, but I seriously went through and wrote down pages in the movie, just like going, oh, right. Oh, right. I probably picked out that I counted earlier today about 35 points of contention that I have with just continuity or something that didn't make sense, or a cut scene that was a little too quick, like the Mohawk one where suddenly he's outside and then boom, he's inside and getting killed. A dude saying science will save us. I mean, it just the little things that were just kind of like, okay, that was over the top and did not need to be there. Oh, whatever. Yeah. Sorceress contest whatever her name is. But yes, the shelf life. The daughter's name was Tessa in the last movie. So now to have it Quintessa, it's like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing there. So it's yeah. Long story short, it gets worse the more you see it.
Doesn't get better, it gets worse.
It does. It just things start showing up, and you're like going, I liked this movie last time. What's wrong with it now? It lies. It lies. It distracts you. Its power is distraction. We're going to go so fast that this last detail that didn't make sense, you won't remember it in 2 seconds because you'll just be seeing boom, Michael Bay explosions. So, there you go.
All right.
Next person. It wants it. Get it over with now, guys.
All right, let's go to our media superstar, Darryl, for his expert opinion. The man behind Transmissions.
Yeah, that's me. I saw it on Wednesday, opening day. I wasn't rushing out to see this thing. And I paid regular price, which was $15 here. So, yeah. And I saw the 7:15 p.m. show. So, I had to avoid Yoshi's spoilers for a whole 12 to 18 hours.
Did you even get to my spoilers, or were they gone by then?
They were there. I saw them. I saw them after the. I watched the movie. I came home and I was watching them.
Okay.
But yeah, I was not a huge fan of it either. I didn't like it. I did make my thoughts pretty clear on a couple of different occasions. I agree with a lot of what everyone said. The couple of the examples, Yoshi's example of where Wahlberg stops the Transformer with the sword. Well, the immediate scene or the immediate cut after that, the sword is gone. It's missing. It's not even in the scene anymore, right?
I thought he dropped it. Didn't he drop it?
There's no
because it was attached to him.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
it's on it's attached to his arm
today,
thing.
Gone tomorrow.
Right? So it's just
talisman.
That happened a few times. Like when it was wrapped around his arm, and then the next scene it was gone.
It was gone. And when they show up and meet Anthony Hopkins at the castle, and the big robot tank is transformed in the background, and then the next scene he's back in tank mode behind Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, this is how Michael Bay comes in under budget on all his films.
But you didn't hear a tank transforming noise or anything, and that tank was slow
just really
as hell.
Quiet, yeah.
He was a decrepit fucking tank. There was no way he wasn't transforming fast. That's the point, right? Or
he couldn't transform back in like the split second they switched scenes.
Exactly, that's my point. So I mean, there was some edits that just didn't. I caught in the first viewing. I haven't seen it a second time. So generally, like Aimee was saying, you do see. You do miss a lot of things in your first viewing because you're trying to take in all the information. Everything's coming in so fast, and you miss a lot of stuff. So if you do go back for a second viewing, you do see a lot of that other stuff. As far as my tally sheet of the product placements, within the first couple seconds of the movie, I saw one. It was that Asian phone, the Mitsu or something like that. The phone, the NASA guy is sitting there playing on the fucking phone, and I don't know what he's playing because it just says the brand name of the phone right on it. I don't know what the hell you're typing, buddy, but your screen is dead. So I mean, there's that one. There's the
Was the dancing robot a product?
I don't know. It wasn't anything that we saw. Maybe, but
yeah.
I was sure that was going to be a Transformer.
Yeah, I thought for a minute there he's going to transform and start shooting at him. He's going to fall out of his chair. That would have actually been funny.
The Bud Light one was definitely another one that we all kind of caught. That was right in our faces.
Yeah.
Like Yoshi said, the previews and the TV clips and the Super Bowl made a huge thing about the mini Dinobots. There was no need for them in the movie. Absolutely no need. So I mean,
there's no explanation either. I mean, because they were suddenly just there. What are they? Are they?
How did they come to be?
Did he create them? Yeah, exactly.
How do you make a mini Dinobot?
Grimlock is not a guy. Grimlock is a girl.
Explain to me the biology behind this, Chris McFeely.
Grimlock and Snarl are in a committed relationship. they
That's an interesting combination.
They wanted to start a family. They did.
Life finds a way.
Okay, exactly.
And eventually they're going to grow up, and then you're going to have 2 Grimlocks. And
there you go. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Now, the girl character is Isabella. I didn't have any problem with her. She did give a young face to the movie franchise for kids to latch onto. I wish that she had stayed with her Stranger Things group of kids, so she could have it could have been her and the kid who had the heart on for her the whole time. So they could have just been hanging around. That would have been a good group of kids. Just to, she's trying to get Squeaks to the war or some shit like that, and this kid's just trying to get in her pants the entire time. It would have been hilarious.
He didn't look old enough to be able to be there and asking those questions or writing those checks. But
there you go. Yeah. But I mean, I thought the dynamic was funny for the kids to be, and if she had the mini Dinobots to begin with, then it would have been kind of fun. The dynamic would have fit better. I like the fact that she had them at the end, and if the franchise continues with her storyline and she has the Dinobots and Squeaks and whatever like that, that could be a good story to continue with. As I said in my little breakdown after I saw the movie with DJ Ronan and Dogcades, I was convinced Day Trader was voiced by Rob Paulson. Apparently, he is not. So I was wrong on that. But I thought he sounded like him. I was sitting in the theater and I leaned over to DJ Ronan and I said, "I think that's Rob Paulson." And I didn't get any, immediate.
DJ Ronan, you're under the bus too, because you should have immediately said no. That's Steve Buscemi.
He didn't want to dignify Darryl's ranting
He's Canadian.
with a response.
He's Canadian. He's got to be polite.
But no, I liked Day Trader. I thought he was a funny character. There was a lot wrong with it, but I do want to highlight some of the things that I liked with the movie. And I think that would be important for us to do in this kind of review, is to maybe highlight at least one thing that we liked about the movie. I liked, and you can't just say Anthony Hopkins acting, because, I mean, goddamn, the guy's great. But I thought the car chase scene through the streets of London was fantastic. The one part where Cogman, he's driving and he gets, I can't remember, I think he's driving Nitro. Whatever
it never transforms, but
no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's the Aston Martin.
Yeah, the Aston Martin. So he's driving the Aston Martin, he just swerves just quickly to the other lane, and the oncoming car slams right into the other one that's parked or something like that. I thought that was awesome. It looked fantastic. So the angle of that shot looked really good. So I mean, that's the style of Michael Bay's directing is very fast, and it lends itself well to car chases. If you want to see how well it works, watch Bad Boys.
Also directed by Michael Bay.
Yes. Yeah. But and then there was one other one that I thought was what really worked. I can't think of it right now, but there was a couple other things. I know that there were some people in some of the forums that really complained about the fact that you didn't see Optimus transform at all. He transformed once, but you didn't see it.
Oh yeah, because it's when they fall out of the sky. Then all of a sudden he's a truck. Oh, great! Out of the smoke, it's a truck.
They had to have a truck to use for the SDCC promo.
Yep.
Because it wouldn't make sense to just use his jet boots to fly away from the debris that's falling on you.
No, that was just something from the last movie. It doesn't carry over, Charles.
Except for the part where he flew up and got on the dragon's back.
The knights, the part about the knights that bugs me is the Dragonstorm toy is 2 figures that combine to form Dragonstorm. In the movie, it's 12 figures.
Yeah. 12 figures.
Well, it's even worse than that because originally there were 12 knights that formed the dragon, but then a couple of knights get killed, and they still form the dragon after the night after. They're down to like 6 or 7 knights, and they still form the whole dragon.
That's true.
Magic.
It's true.
Magic. Yeah. They said magic so many times in this movie. I just wanted to say, stop it with it already.
I do. I did remember the other point in the movie that I liked. It was during the final battle when they got what's his face to combine.
Infernicus.
Infernicus. The combination sequence on Infernicus looked awesome, and as a fan of combiners, as like I am, to see a combination sequence in a live action movie looked really amazing. Even though they were dispatched really easily. That
was Quintessa's like heavy dude, right? His bouncer, bouncer guy that she had.
Her bouncer, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's this tiny little thing. She bitch slaps, Optimus Prime, but she's got this big heavy,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like I said when I was talking to the other guys, I gave the movie a 3 out of 10. But there were a couple points out of the movie that I liked. But it's one of those movies that it's just like out of the 5 that they've made, I've put this one at 4. So the only one underneath it is Revenge of the Fallen, because that was an absolute disaster.
That one didn't have a script.
It was. It had half a script. Half a script. That's why the first 30 minutes is kind of cool, and then the rest of it's shit.
Yeah.
All right, Jeremy, we come to you. You were trying to be positive. You were putting the positives on everything. So, did that positive attitude hold you through the movie?
I actually enjoyed the movie.
Woo! Okay. Right?
All right. We lost Yoshi.
I went in. I'll wait till Yoshi gets. Okay. I went in with extremely low expectations.
There's the problem right there. It's extremely low.
Okay. I mean, I knew what we were getting. I saw it on Wednesday as well at 12:30 in the afternoon. I took the day off work. I had a day that I had to use this month or I was going to lose it. So I'm like, why not?
Everybody here believes that was too extreme, Jeremy.
Exactly.
I enjoyed the day off work even with or without the movie. But
okay, then it's all right.
Yeah, I did pay, I think it was like $12. I saw IMAX non-3D. I don't do 3D movies anymore unless I'm forced to. I didn't I didn't see any reason whenever I see a 3D movie, I have to keep one eye shut or I get a headache. So I don't do it.
Okay, so no 3D movie at TFCon Toronto if that happens.
And Darryl's like, I'm gonna force him. So I paid full price, no coupons or anything, but I saw many flaws in the movie. I'm not going to discount anything any of you guys said, but I came out of it enjoying it. I knew what I was going to get going in. I thought Isabella was great. She was a solid character. I enjoyed the fact that there was no racist robots, and the sexist stuff was toned way, way down. And I thought the King Arthur stuff was done well. I gotta agree with what Darryl said when he was talking to the guys after the movie. The World War II scene was pointless. It's just setting up something for the Bumblebee movie, I'm sure. The editing was really the biggest problem in the movie that I saw. You were going from scene to scene. At times, there was no real connecting tissue between the scenes. And that was my biggest issue. I'm like, how did we get here? How much time has passed? What, that was just my biggest thing. The science thing was also dumb. Like at one point they mentioned something about the gravity of Cybertron going to destroy Earth. And then at another point, Cybertron is hitting Earth with pieces of itself. The gravity is not even mentioned.
The science was all over the place. I mean, right. I just got on Twitter about, they said that they came in behind our star, our sun, to hide, before they got here. And then I was like, what's the point of hiding? Because one, humans, technologically, we are way behind them. You can't say that she didn't probably know that.
Right.
And then even if that was the case, if you saw in the movie, so if they came in behind the sun so we couldn't see them, then all of a sudden you see a picture of Cybertron coming at the moon with the sun.
Yeah. From a completely different direction.
Exact opposite direction, and the Earth right there. And I was like going, wait a second, that makes absolutely no sense. And yeah, the science of it was just all over the place. It was, besides the fact that Cybertron stuck in. What? Go ahead.
Aimee, you're bringing up an interesting point. Jeremy, but you did enjoy it, right?
I did enjoy it.
All right, Aimee, I'd like to offer you a hosting position on the
show. But do you suck at audio?
I would like to point you to a picture I posted to Twitter just now of my setup. You might not want to do that. I do like some of the continuity stuff that they did kind of carry over from the older movies. Like when the thing did hit the moon, you saw the ship from Dark of the Moon get destroyed. You had what's his face from Simmons. He didn't really play a huge role, but he was there, and not in an offensive role, so it was fine. He didn't see any giant robot testicles.
But he did talk about scrotum. Just saying.
Well,
sorry.
But we didn't see it on screen.
True, very true. There were no teaser shots.
Yeah.
Exposition machine.
I haven't been able to find out the actor that played it, but the other TRS agent, not
Santos.
Not Lennox, but the TRF dude that was in charge of the TRF guys. Yeah.
Was he the guy that played the police officer in the first one?
I don't think so.
So no. I want to say that I think I've seen him. I think I've seen him in The Last Ship, another Michael Bay thing.
Was that Rob Paulson?
No, it I kept thinking it was that guy that was interrogating Sam in the first movie, but I can't confirm it, so I'm not going to say it as fact like some people.
Yeah, it's not him. I in the first movie, it's not him. Yeah.
Okay.
He was a blonde-looking guy.
Okay.
Did you see that apparently Sam is dead?
Oh, I missed that part. I saw this picture
because he's on the wall. Because he's on the wall with all the other Wiccans.
Wiccans,
yeah.
And
he's dead though, or did it say from year to year?
Because Anthony Hopkins said he's the only surviving Wiccan.
Oh.
Okay. I can see your logic there. Yeah. Huh.
But was Sam
right?
was Sam really a Wiccan, or he was just descended from them? Because of course, we never saw any indication that he was a member of a secret society in his movies.
His last name is Witwicky.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was
His
not.
grandfather was in it too. They showed a picture of his grandfather and then him.
This is another thing that drove me crazy. Okay,
Yeah,
but,
I'm not saying continuity is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on the damn wall.
No, I'm just saying this is another thing that was not. It was just a throwaway. It was not explained adequately.
Yeah.
There were so many things thrown in there. You can tell the script probably explained a lot of the stuff, and it was either just not shot or edited out. And I'm actually, I'm actually interested in reading the novelization to see if any of the stuff.
They'll never do one. I don't think they stopped
They
doing
always
that
do
last time.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure they're not going to do one this time. No one will write it because it gets changed in the movie anyhow.
Okay. Well, so anyway, I would actually give the movie probably a 6 out of 10.
Ugh.
I came out of the movie enjoying it, despite all of the flaws that I found. And
all right, Yoshi's gone. All right, I guess we.
You left. Oh my gosh.
Yoshi, come back. I've got more hate for you, Yoshi. It's okay. We're gonna end with gonna end with epic hate. I promise. Okay, come back. All right.
Can you end it with the application Aimee needs to fill out so that we can replace Jeremy?
So, to give my thoughts, I really tried. Everyone said, okay, I set the expectations really low. It's not supposed to be great. It's just supposed to be a dumb action movie. I understand that. But the movie started. It started with the King Arthur bullshit, and it just kept going down for me. I mean, I just couldn't. It was not, and so I was in Germany for work. I found a theater that was showing the English language version of the movie. So I went Wednesday night at 8 p.m. I saw the 3D show.
Could you have seen the movie with a beer?
Yes, I could have. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So could I.
So 8 p.m. in Germany is actually 2 p.m. On the East Coast. So I guess I saw it around the same time as Jeremy.
you were seeing it at the same time.
Yeah.
It'd be 1 p.m. for me.
Okay. And then I came home on Friday, and my son really wanted to see the movie, so I took him again, and we went to see the IMAX 3D version. And I'll agree that the IMAX 3D didn't add too much to it, but so I took him again. I paid in Germany. I paid €10 for my ticket for the 3D version. In the US, I paid $15 for my ticket plus the $12 for the kids' ticket for my son. And yeah, I mean, watching it again, it just kind of cemented my thoughts on the movie. It didn't really change my mind watching it a second time. And my son really liked it, so I didn't tell him I hated it because I didn't want to ruin his enthusiasm. So I said, that's great. I'm glad you liked it.
This could be his his movie.
Yeah,
the 86 movies for us. This is his movie. Sorry to say that.
Of course. I feel like it kind of, he saw it and then it like went out of his mind the next day because he hasn't really talked about it since, and he's happily, he's gone back to playing Pokemon in his 3DS and not really mentioned anything about the movie since then. So,
hate is over with.
All right, so I did, despite the massive problems I had with this movie, there were some good things that I thought that I enjoyed, and in another better structured movie, these would be things I would have cheered. Megatron finally looked kind of like Megatron. He had a fusion cannon, and Frank Welker did a great job with his voice. So
Frank Welker was excellent.
I agree. He was fantastic.
So that was good. Also,
it was reminding me of Transformers Prime Megatron.
Yeah.
His voice.
Yeah. Also, when Megatron gets to the junkyard and he finds Starscream's head, he has an alas poor Yorick moment with Starscream's head. I like that. I thought that was a nice...
And they actually set that up where they showed you Starscream's head before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Starscream's head was destroyed when he was killed. so it shouldn't exist.
I also hated the movie.
Transformium.
I'm just trying
Maybe
to say these are things in isolation. I'm not addressing whether they're in continuity or make sense. Just in isolation, these are things that I liked. I mean, this is a stand-in for having any part of these 5 movies where we actually had Megatron and Starscream playing off of each other. They didn't do that at all, except for a little tiny bit in Revenge of the Fallen, and that was terrible. So we did, this kind of classic relationship between Megatron and Starscream that's in almost every iteration of Transformers, just they completely destroyed it in this franchise. But anyway,
they call him his treacherous friend.
Yeah. So these are good things in isolation. So we're not going to say whether they make sense, just in isolation. Bumblebee's disassembling trick I liked, even though they didn't explain it, but I thought it was cool. It reminded me of Waspinator. And I thought they did some good scenes with that. We had
another movie where a guy gets hit in the head with a tire.
Yeah,
like Age of Extinction.
Oh, they did it on purpose time. Yeah. He was paid to do this time.
I guess that's a thing now. I don't know. A few Decepticons actually got a tiny bit of characterization. That was, the Suicide Squad thing was a little lame, but just the fact that we had a squad of Decepticons for a little bit in the movie. We had an actual
way.
No, in isolation. I'm getting to that. Okay, in isolation. Right. Just remember, this is all in isolation.
Got to give him a chance. Charles is ramping up here.
We had an actual Autobot Decepticon fight, in the middle of the movie, which was too short, but it was good. John Goodman as Hound. We already mentioned that. I really liked him. Steve Buscemi as Day Trader. I thought he was good too. Bumblebee finally talks at the end. It's not Dan Gilvezan, but hopefully.
What did you think of the Bumblebee Siri voice joke?
Oh.
That was hilarious, I have to say. I thought it was funny, especially he was like, "This is not my voice." He rips it out. I was like, "Yeah." That was funny.
That's fine. It's not on my list of good, but that's fine. It's not on my bad list either. Cogman was crazy, but I liked I liked him and Anthony Hopkins playing off of each other. Those two were, they were a little bit too much in the movie, but I thought still they were funny. Hot Rod's slow time gun was a nice special effect, even though Hot Rod never had a slow time gun before, but fine.
Nobody had a slow
It wasn't actually specific to him, because later on I thought another character used Hound.
That was
Hound
Hot Rod.
it.
No, that was Hot Rod.
They called for Hot Rod to do it.
Yeah.
Because in the final scene they used another one, and I thought it was Hound that did it. Because
the Autobots actually using teamwork.
No, it was Hot Rod. It was Hot Rod again. He was there with Prime.
The cutaway, you get confused.
Yeah, editing.
Hound has holograms. Remember?
I was just gonna say, I was pretty sure that Hound used it. I thought it was like some sort of bomb that went off, and they all had a copy of it.
No. Steve Jablonsky's musical score, I like that. That had appropriate, beats and emotional moments for. If the movie had been better, I would have felt some emotion with the music. But his music has always been good for these movies. Last thing, I did like Jared Carmichael, the Jimmy, the comic relief guy. Mm-hmm. I thought he was there and just brief enough that it worked. That I still thought he was funny, but not overwhelming the movie. So
yeah. I thought the part where you were sure he was going to get killed, and I thought that was probably the highlight of his involvement, where he's like, it felt like I got shot.
All right, so that's all the good. Couple of things that I think could have easily been fixed to build a better connection to Transformers, but were not. Change Day Trader's name to Swindle. Just call him Swindle and nice. Add a line of dialogue about him being an ex-Decepticon. I mean, that's all I needed to be on board for that character.
lost potential. That happened a lot. The other thing that I would say that we lost potential is Bumblebee Barricade rematch. They had twice they could have put it in there, and then they didn't do it. And I was like, what's going on? No rematch?
And Day Trader should have had something to do with the stock market. I mean, he should have been Swindle or Rekgar.
Did they even use the knuckle dusters?
No, they just showed them. They didn't use them. Actually, you know what? Jeremy, you're right. Rekgar would have been a good choice too. Rekgar or Swindle. I thought Swindle just because he was kind of a scummy, parts trader.
Scummy.
But also,
Swindle lives.
Also, Quintessa, give her some rotating faces. They're already talking about her being the great deceiver. Have her face switch from a smiling face to an evil face, so we know she's a deceiver. And
even if it morphed into something more.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because you saw that at the end. She has the ability.
That was a poor rendition, I'd say.
All right, now here's where everything fell apart for me.
Uh-oh.
Humans are the main characters and the focus of the movie. Humans are always the main characters. Humans are not supposed to be the main characters. That's for all the movies, and that trend continues. In the last night,
but it's too risky to make people think that they're going to fall in love, or actually, if they're really going to, relate to something that has this robotic face that doesn't even look anything like a human being, because kids haven't been doing this for years, watching animated stuff, or hey, Avatar. All of the adults that watched that like that. I mean, people were huge, but I mean, come on, let's have a debate about what's right?
10 years later, that excuse doesn't work.
It doesn't work anymore. I don't know why they haven't done that either. So it's a dumb excuse. They think that people that watch it are dumb enough that we don't get it. We can get it. We can relate. We're human beings. We can do that.
It's called Transformers: The Last Night. In the Transformers movie, the Last Night is a human.
That's true.
What are you doing? And the other main character is a descendant of Merlin, and she's also important too. But none of the Transformers are important. Just the two humans.
And Optimus Prime.
Yeah, but he was tertiary to the two humans.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was just the heavy, pretty much. But
and he was barely in the movie.
I forgot something else I didn't like. His turn from face like good guy to bad guy to good guy again was just too quick.
Yeah.
That's how they used Nemesis Prime, and I thought that was kind of bad way of doing it too.
Yeah. I am Optimus Prime is a terrible catchphrase. Stop saying that. Stop it. Stop it. We don't need. We know who he is.
He likes to hear the sound of his voice. I am Optimus Prime. I am Optimus Prime.
Aimee, you already touched on it. I talked about how I liked all the interesting Decepticons. They're killed in 5 minutes. Most of them are all dead.
Yeah.
I think Nitro Zeus is the only one who survives to the end of the movie, and then he's killed.
Unless you also include Mohawk and the fact that his head is still talking after he died.
But didn't Bumblebee shoot it or step on it?
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Berserker's still alive because he wasn't on the team.
Yeah.
He's still in jail.
Yeah, but he gets a toy.
In con jail. Yeah.
Pointless characters. So Squeaks, I put Isabella in this. All the other kids at the beginning. The asshole astronomer. Who actually, Tony Hale is a good actor. He's in Arrested Development. He's really funny in there. He was not funny in this movie. Vivian's family, who only care about her getting a man. I thought that was. Dinobots are wasted again and treated like dumb animals. They don't even transform once.
Well, yeah, I'm wondering why they weren't in that last battle because they could have really done some damage.
Exactly. That's on my list too. But they were not put in the last battle either.
In fact, half the battle, Optimus Prime wasn't even there. I just thought, what a big douche. He flew off. He's like, let's go fight. Boom, goes off, and he doesn't even show up when he gets there. Like, oh, I think you got taken out.
Yep.
Where is he? They even said, where's Optimus Prime? I was like, yeah, because we were all thinking that.
The submarine transformer that doesn't bother to talk or transform. Thanks for that.
He didn't say. Yeah. Glass underneath the ocean was really
coming in under budget.
Yeah, under budget.
Cogman's a headmaster, never shows his headmaster ability. Thanks for that. The Autobots are heroes who don't prevent any innocent deaths. I think they talked about millions of casualties from Cybertron smashing into the Earth. They didn't stop that. They stopped the Earth from being totally destroyed, but they didn't save like any of the human cities. Cybertron drags it's across the surface of Earth, and a bunch of cities are just gone.
Just more casualties to add to the reason why every human on Earth will hate them in the next movie. But because Chicago still happened.
I mean, this is my feeling also, and maybe Jeremy, you can relate to this with Man of Steel. Like, Superman is supposed to like save people first and then be a badass second. That's how I feel Optimus Prime should be. He should save people's lives first, then he can be a badass who beats the bad guys. And nobody cares about saving lives in these movies. Yeah, None of the heroes care about that.
This isn't really Optimus Prime. This is an alternate universe. Yeah.
It's a sideways version.
Why are all the Transformers shit pilots who keep crash landing into the Earth?
That's true.
Why can't any of the Transformers land their ship without crashing?
Because Unicron's a giant magnet.
I mean, even the Knights had crashed their ships in King Arthur times. All the new Transformers are apparently just crash landing anywhere.
Well, you saw the last movie how Optimus Prime just takes off from the planet, goes off into the outer space, and was he intending going anywhere? Because when he got out there, he didn't last long. I think he was just as surprised to find himself back on Cybertron at that point when he finally crashed. They're like, this is my planet. What happened to it? I was like, yeah, because you went off into space and said you're going to go find your creator. Did you expect to go back home or to find someplace else?
I think that whole scene with Optimus was very weak. Where like his first scenes, the performance by Peter Cullen was just not the best.
No, it wasn't.
At the end of the movie, I thought his performances were a lot better. And I think you can tell just from the lines he had to deliver, the more heroic lines is what he wants to do with the character.
But they didn't write that until the very end.
Right. The evil Prime stuff I think he's sick of, but he'll take the paycheck.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we're going on long, so I think I'll cut. I have a lot more things listed here, but I mean, we already talked about how the story doesn't make sense. I do want to mention, like, the whole thing with the military. Why are the military letting Decepticons out instead of just going to the Autobots and saying, "Hey, guys, can we work with you to find this thing or whatever?"
I know.
Why are you?
Yeah, that didn't make sense to me either, other than the fact that, well, we've got all the bargaining chips because we have most of those guys, like, in jail, and so we can coerce them to work for us because we'll let them out. I'm like, Wayne, the logic of that sounds bad too, because you let them out. If they don't care about humans, they're just going to kill whatever, and you're going to have the whole lot of casualties in their wake. So even the idea of that, the fact that they negotiated with Megatron, why not just reach out to the Autobots and say, hey, we want to work with you guys again. Try to make some hook happen right there. I mean, because to me it sounded like, well, so Megatron reaches out to you guys and says, hey, I want, or this is what he didn't even do that. He caught 2 humans, which wasn't on screen. They just said, oh, he caught 2 humans, and so therefore he can negotiate with him. I'm like going, okay. It was weird.
And that
was the only reason why, is because they need to give the Decepticons something to do, because they really didn't have anything for them to do. So that's the reason why they did it.
And the whole middle of the movie is all this exposition about the Knights and the Witwickens and World War II. You spend so much time on that with the 3 human characters and Cogman, and there's all this other stuff, all this Transformers stuff that you don't address, you don't bother to mention, and Even at the end, Megatron has that red stripe on his face. So clearly he met up with Quintessa and made another deal with her.
He had it from the beginning.
Did he? Oh.
Yep.
So
when
how
Barricade
about
first finds him, his face is red on one side. I thought, that's interesting.
Okay, so how about some scenes where that happened?
They didn't have to. He was willing to work for her already. He just came in and says, "Hey, I got the staff here." Okay.
Yeah. So when did he make contact with Quintessa? Could we have a scene explaining that, maybe, or maybe she upgraded him from his Galvatron body? Maybe that's what happened. I don't know, because the movie didn't bother to tell me that. The movie didn't think I needed to know.
You need to read the prequel comic. Oh wait.
Yeah. Didn't happen.
Yeah, so all these things combined to basically ruin my enjoyment of the movie. I'm glad that people could enjoy it as a dumb action movie, but I need a movie. I can't turn my brain completely off. I need the movie to make a little bit of sense. This movie, I don't need the movie to ape G1. I don't need it to be slavish to G1. I can have the movie can be its own thing. But I need the movie to make sense and respect its own rules and its own universe. It doesn't even do that. And the final thing that bothered me is that all the marketing about this movie is about see how it will end. And this is the final chapter. And in this movie, 15 minutes into the movie, you're setting up the stuff for the next movie.
Yes, absolutely. Because the horns coming out.
Yes,
the horns.
Yes.
That was a whole subplot. Did not touch on it at all. It was all set up for the next movie. It really is.
So that's my final thoughts on Transformers. This has gone on way too long. I'm sure everyone has turned off this video by now. But
hey,
yes,
have you thoroughly thrashed it enough? Yeah. It's still alive. We need to hit it a couple more times.
Call me a hater or whatever, but I need a movie to make sense. The Marvel movies do just fine having a coherent plot and lots of action and fun. I don't know why you have to, in a Transformers movie, one, you can't have the Transformers be the main character and on the screen for 90% of the time, and two, that the movie can make a little bit of sense. So it's
a crazy idea. It's really crazy. Maybe they'll do it the next one. I don't know. I mean, I know the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and over again and expect different results, but I kind of hope that the next movie is like the one they're like, hey, let's do something really, really, really new and novel. Let's make it make sense. You know? I mean, I'm like, okay, all right. It'll be the one that stands out and really goes out with a bang. And Unicron is going to be at the heart of it.
What really gets me is go back and watch the Nostalgia Critic non-review of Transformers 5. So our one of our Patreons, Chad, put a link to that before the movie came out. A guy reviewed the movie before the movie came out and basically got the entire plot right without having seen the movie.
Really? Oh, wow. Well, I guess it's not too hard to do. I mean, just go back and watch all Michael Bay movies and just follow that script right there. I mean, I already said a couple times that this felt really much like a remake of Revenge of the Fallen, except you know. That's sad.
All right.
It's really sad.
All right, I think we've gone on long enough. I'm sorry, everyone.
Yeah. Well, it was painful. It had to be done, right?
Let us never speak of this again.
I'm just going to say, Yoshi just says it all right there. Just the nodding or the shaking the head. Like, guys, really, we spent an hour and 30 minutes doing this. Really?
All right. That's our review of Transformers The Last Night. In theaters now.
1 out of 5 hosts says go see it.
See it once at least, but only see it if you're going to spend practically nothing. If you spend more than $5 on it, we can't be held responsible. Mm-mm.
All right. If you'd like to see more Transmissions, the podcast, check out our website.
Normally this negative, right?
No, we actually like Transformers. Really, we do. Check out our website, www.transmissionspodcast.com. You can listen to all our podcasts there. You can download them. You can subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, all those good places. And subscribe to our YouTube channel for our weekly trips to the store videos, too, where we show off all the Transformer stuff we get each week.
All the cool swag. Woo!
All right.
Also,
yes.
Patreon.
On Patreon.
Support them on Patreon, yeah.
All right. Yeah, support us on Patreon. We're trying to get to 60 Patreons, and then we'll unlock a new show, Transmissions Declassified, where we will go into deep dive on lots of topics. The first one was about the live-action movies. That's already out for you to listen to. Yoshi and I aren't on that one, so it's a much more positive discussion.
It's the only way we could edit it down to an hour is if the awesome took a step back.
All right. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Have a good
Bye.
one.
Bye, Jeremy.
Thank you for tuning in.
Bye, Yoshi.